Now, one person I want to bring up in front of you is a young lady who's got to be a good friend of mine. She's really sharp, and she works for a group called the Workers Interfaith Network. And this is a group dedicated to the idea that workers are not just people who go to a job and pound it out all day, either in an office or at a factory floor or on a work site, but are really whole human beings, who are people who are many times people of faith and maybe of not faith, but they are whole human beings who have a community that they belong to. And she's going to speak to these ideas, and I want you all to let Veronica Mendez know how grateful you are that she has come out to be with us here tonight. Let's give our sister a hand, everybody. Come on now.
Thank you. So like you said, I'm Veronica, and Workers Interfaith Network the core piece of the work there is the work that I'm doing, organizing low-wage workers who don't have unions to fight for better wages and working conditions. So while we've been able to, over the past few years that we've been there, we've been able to fight and organize and win many victories, we're still seeing a really significant problem with our economy. And part of the problem is that every day we see workers coming into our offices that are experiencing massive amounts of wage theft, where employers have just flat out decided, we're not going to pay workers for the work that they do. I've worked a week, I've worked 2 weeks, my employer decides, you know what, I'm not going to pay you, I'm just going to refuse to do it. Over the last year, we've seen hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in reported wage theft. We're seeing workers that are coming in that they're telling us about wages that are plummeting to levels so low that we've on several occasions met with workers that are making less than $5 an hour on a regular basis, working 80-hour weeks and making less than $5 an hour. And then the saddest part about all of this, and the most angering part about all of this, is that we're seeing folks that come to our doors expecting that this is the norm. This is just what happens. This is how it is on the job, right? So that's what's happening in our center. And then we look bigger than that. We look at TV, we look at the newspaper, we look at the messages that we're getting from our bosses and from the rich and powerful, where they're telling us that, you know, the economy is just really bad right now, and it just kind of is what it is. So you're going to have to accept some lower wages. Or we've got union contract negotiations where people are being told, yeah, you're just going to have to accept takeaways, right? And then the worst part of all of that is that while the economy is bad, it's true, these employers are taking advantage of it, and people are getting used to it. And all of us have begun to buy into this narrative that the economy's bad, it's just the situation, it is what it is, and we don't have a lot of power to change it. This is a problem. This culture is the problem, this dominant narrative is a problem. And it reminds me of a story that I want to tell you guys about that's actually about the circus. So, has anybody ever been to the circus and you see these elephants? And the elephants are tied to the side of the rails or whatever by ropes, right? Just regular little ropes holding in 8,000-pound elephants. And you gotta look at it and you gotta wonder, how is it possible that this enormous creature isn't just bolting away through these ropes to its freedom, right? And so I learned a little bit more, talked to some people, and they told me that what they do is they take these elephants when they're babies and they tie them up with the same ropes. And when they're babies, they're too small to be able to break through those ropes. And so they struggle and they try to break free and they can't. Right? And so over the years, they learned these ropes can hold me in. And by the time they're these giant 8,000-pound creatures, even though they're huge and can clearly escape from this, they've learned that they're powerless. And so they believe it. Right? And this is what we need to shift. Because we've gotten used to hearing this narrative that there's just nothing we can do, we just have to accept the situation. When the truth is that when we're organized and we come together like we are here in this room, and we're out in the streets fighting to say that we need a voice of the economy, we need justice for workers, and we're going to push back on those people that tell us that we're powerless, we are that 8,000-pound elephant, and we can break free to our economic freedom. And so that's what we need to do today. And I know that we're here because we know that we need to elect governors, we need to elect congresspeople and other officials that are going to be with us on these issues, but they're not going to be able to do it for us. We need to recognize our power, we need to build it in our communities, we need to build a movement that's going to be out in the streets saying, we are the ones who determine our own destinies and we're the ones who are going to write our futures. Thank you.
All right. That was great.